Hello everyone, welcome to a new week. So just picking up on the T6 then, off the back of last week's video. You can see Tig started the polishing work, so we're just getting rid of any nibs. On such a large flat area like this especially, no matter how clean you try and make the jobs, there's always a couple of little dirt nibs that we're not happy with, so we try and get rid of those as best as we possibly can. But as you can see, it's come out nice. It's actually now flatter than the standard VW peel on the top edge, but it looks good in any case. Eagle-eyed amongst you as well might have noticed we're doing a rear window conversion on this to match the side windows that the customer's already done. So just cut out the panels on there, put the trim pieces in there. Next up was just put some window primer and then bond the two windows in. Nice simple job that, really. Also, fog light conversion on this one. So we're not doing the genuine T6 or genuine VW fogs on these because that requires a new switch, it requires coding. It's a lot more work than necessary and a lot more expense, really. So yeah, we're just doing the aftermarket kit, as it were. So this is hardwired off the main fuse board, and then there is a little toggle switch which will be in the dash. It's more for looks in any case on this particular one, so we've just got to cut out the blanks there on the back of these bumper inserts. They should then slot straight into that. The visible piece is already cut out for this one for some peculiar reason. Can't show you right now, but we are doing the Sportline front end on this as well. Obviously side steps go back on, spoiler, we're painting the door handles, things like that too, mirrors, etc. Yeah, hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow we should have this one all pretty much buttoned back, ready to go. Okay, well I didn't quite get a chance to do the T6 videos. T6 is gone, we've had a tidy up, bit of a reset, back to the shop, it's still a mess, but we're having a bit of a tiny tidy up. Like I said, didn't quite fully get a chance to finish off the T6, just a couple of little bits and pieces still to do, but for the most part, all sorted, collected, happy. Tig's continuing on with BM in the middle bay here, so this is now in its second round of poly, so we're just basically blocking that down one more time. Jag is currently out here in the sun, making the most of the sun. This is in its epoxy. I can't remember if I showed you guys the epoxy stage or not, but it's got a really nice sheen to it, looking absolutely lovely. Really impressed with this epoxy. So basically this is its high build epoxy that I talked about before. So we've just got to guide coat the whole thing, put the doors back on, one more sand and a refine, and then it'll be ready to paint. The way things are stacking up at the moment, I think Tig's on holiday next week, so we're going to be painting this one the week after. I don't want to paint it whilst Tig isn't here, just polishing work and stuff. It takes a long time, so it's a lot easier if I have a second pair of hands, but we'll give you a brief rundown of what we've got in the rest of the shop at the moment. So some of you guys will know the MRM Escort Cosworth replica. That one's in with us for a little while. So it's funny how we get two of the same, well, very similar sort of things in at the moment, because these are both fiberglass kits and they both are going to require panel bonding rear wider sections onto the back. So you can see this one, R33 Skyline, has had a bit of a chop and widen on the rear, so we're getting some fiberglass panels on there. Very similar sort of thing. So this was bare metals and supposedly epoxied. I've never personally seen a black epoxy, so I've got to figure out exactly what that is, but if it comes off easily, I'm just going to rip all this back to bare metal. I'm not going to name names, but unfortunately the people who did the cages, the roll cage on this, have not done a very good job. The roof is severely warped. We'll see what we can do with that. It's going to need shrinking in certain sections to try and get a bit of rigidity back into it. Yeah, we'll have to see what we can do with that, but it's potentially in for a very, very special paint colour. Regardless of what we do, it'll be in for a nice paint colour, but it could be in for a very special one. But there's no point in doing a really special paint job if there's areas like that on the roof, of course. Yeah, also we wanted to save the carbon. I don't think it's going to be possible because sadly it's got the crack on the front there, which was covered up with vinyl tape. Makes sense as to why it was now, so we're going to keep a bit of an accent or something going. Might be different front and rear bumpers, side skirts, not sure at this stage. But yeah, full-on restoration job on this one. As I don't want to be too rude about it. As poor condition as it looks from the outside at this stage, it's not at all actually. This has been a full bare metal job. If you look underneath, it's absolutely lovely under here. It's all brand new components. So this is going to be a really special car when it's all said and done. Obviously it's in for the bodywork now, so of course it's going to look a bit rough to start with. But yeah, lovely looking bit of kit that will be. And then, like I said, the Escort Cosworth, this is an MRM project, so we are aiming to make this one one of the best in the country, if not the best. I think that's the sheet that we're working from. Yeah, doing this one slightly differently, so catch up with Kev over at MRM Speed Shop. He will have had several videos of this one on his channel as to what he's done to get it to this point to start with. Yeah, just a bit of a brief rundown to start with. In any case, Imperial Blue as well, it's going this one, so a lot of work on both of these two to get them into a decent condition. Fiberglass, there's one good thing about fiberglass, is whatever the situation is, we can make it good basically. So if it doesn't fit, we can make it fit. If it needs to be trimmed, we can trim it. So fiberglass is a lovely material to work with. It's all possible. Yeah, get cracking on these two. Right, so first quick job on the Escort. We've got this lower splitter, which at the moment is painted in a kind of satin black. It looks like just a 1K aerosol, and you can actually see it is a carbon splitter. The side pieces aren't, I don't believe. Well, certainly not from the back anyway, unless it's carbon skinned. But yeah, the middle piece is definitely carbon. So Jason's asked me to try and save this. Don't know if we can or not. There's got to be a reason why they painted over it in the first place as well. So it might be very, very poor condition, but we'll try and strip this back now. Got to be very gentle about it. We'll try some solvents to start with and see if that does anything. If it's a 1K, then it may well just come off with a bit of solvent. If not, we will up the ante a little bit, go more and more aggressive, see what we can do. With aim to try and save it. Don't know if it's going to be possible, but we'll certainly try. Quick update on the Cosworth splitter. As you can see then, we can get the satin paint off reasonably easily. We're quite easily back to the epoxy. We're not damaging the epoxy like this. We can sand the epoxy quite aggressively with this. On a 320 at the moment, I could even go more aggressive than that to start with. Problem is, as you can see, there's little voids in there, and they are not in the top surface of the epoxy. That's just where the actual the weave has started becoming delaminated, basically, or it's got air bubbles in the manufacturing process there. It is underneath this top layer. So I can't sand this off a huge amount more without the risk of going through to the actual weave itself. Directly you hit the weave, if you start sanding on the weave, obviously that distorts the pattern straight away. So that would be a big no-go. When it was clear coated, or if it was clear coated, it would look more like this. So it is hidden a lot more, but they are still there from certain angles as well. It's a lot better, so I'll have a chat with Jason and see what he wants to do. I think my personal opinion, I don't know, carbon fibre is nice. I hate painting over carbon fibre, to be fair. I think when things are carbon, or good quality carbon, always keep them good quality carbon. But in this instance, it's not particularly good quality stuff, I suppose. I'm not sure. I still think probably if it was mine, I'd keep it as is, carbon. See what Jace wants to do.
drivetrain, everything is brand new. New shafts, new CVs, new box, new diffs. The only
Been over to Kev's, taken what it feels like is about 100 photos or so of his. I've said previously, I think, what we're trying to do with this one is basically make it indistinguishable between this and a genuine Cosworth. So if it's parked up next to Kev's, which it will be at some point, we shouldn't be able to tell the difference in terms of the body kit. So a lot of little subtle things that we're going to be doing with this one, but yeah, basically making it the best, if you know, one of the best, if not the best replica going. That's what we're looking for on this, from the body shop wise, and from Kev's point of view as well, what he's doing with the engine and all that side of things. Little things in terms of body, things like these little dimples on the Cosworth, they follow around into the metalwork here, so we'll replicate that. Kev's already done the arches, so again on his channel he'll show you guys. These are really, really thin on here, that's what he's done, whereas normally the replicas have a big fat arch just because of where the metalwork is, but obviously the metalwork on this has been cut away. Won't go into too much detail at the moment about how we're going to get these to fit, purely because I'll just show you when I do them. It's easier to show you visually, but basically we're going to be sealing the inside, epoxying the inside because they are fiberglass, so all of the fiberglass kit needs to be sealed from the inside. That stops all the osmosis or water ingress over the years. It's a point which is very often overlooked as well with the fiberglass kits, but we'll be doing that on this one. And then panel bonding it onto the metalwork. Essentially that's going to secure the kit into place, then just grind down the edges. We'll be fiberglassing from the edges into the main body of the car, in areas like this. Big old gap there you can see. So we'll just be grinding that flush, fiberglassing, and then obviously a little bit of fiber fill in terms of the actual filler work. But mostly we'll be getting the shape back with actual fiberglass matting, because that's what's going to give it the most strength going forwards. And then obviously just all the standard filler work, etc, etc. But yeah, aim for this one is to make it one of the best, if not the best, Cosworth replica in the country. So that's the brief. See what we can do. I think at this stage, just thinking through things in my head, I think I'm going to paint the engine bay twice. I had a brief chat with Tig about this earlier, but I think that's what we're going to do, just because when the wings come off, we can get obviously underneath the wings, all of that area can be painted. When it actually comes to painting the entire car, we'll want to bolt those wings back into place where they want to be, so we don't have to touch them again. And then just for the metallic orientation side of things, we can paint those. So I'll either mask up the engine bay at that point or paint it again, not sure fully. But there's always the risk, or I feel like there's always a risk with things like this. If you paint the engine bay fully, and then come to do the rest of the bodywork, no matter how well you mask areas like this, if you have the tiniest little hole, the overspray gets through, solvent overspray gets through, and it just goes everywhere. It clouds the whole area. It's very difficult. Yeah, it just negates that risk really. But yeah, just thinking through things in my head at the moment. But we shall see. A little bit more work to do in the engine bay. Strip down the rest of the pieces. Take things like this out. Kev's asked me to take that out. Yeah. What a project this is going to be. It's going to look so different to this, obviously, when it's done. A lot of work. As is next door. I'll show you the Skyline quickly. Well, let's just walk through. That's easier. So we've made a start on the Skyline. Can't remember, I'll be honest guys, I can't remember how much I've said, so I'm just rattling through things at the moment, but wide arch fenders on this, or wide arch kit on the back. It's been widened out quite a lot on the rears. So yeah, you can see how much wider it is there actually. That's a decent representation. The fuel filler cap, obviously not in place properly just yet, but yeah, more so over the other side. So we've taped all this into place for where it roughly needs to be. We've got a bit of a discussion with the customer at the moment in terms of the original fiberglass kit that's been supplied with the car is poor, to say the least. Many repair jobs over the years, stress cracks. It's just looking really poor down there. This is potentially going to a very high pearl metallic, so we need all the bodywork to be absolutely as good as we can possibly make it, otherwise it's really going to highlight the imperfections. So he's talking about potentially getting a different fiberglass kit on it. That comes into play because the one that he's thinking about cuts off there, whereas this is an over one. I'll have a chat with him, figure out exactly what we're doing. But yeah, at the moment we can't go too much further until I figure out exactly, are we keeping this bumper and side skirts, etc. or not. First job on this, as far as I'm concerned, again, very similar to the Cosworth, is to get this kit bonded onto the car. But in order to do that, I need to know exactly what we're doing with side skirts and rear bumper. And then once we've figured that side of things out, you can see down here, I can't actually see what I'm looking at here on the phone, but hopefully it shows up. It's tight, to say the least. We can't roll the arches because it's fiberglass. We can camber the wheels a little bit more, but basically I'm going to need to trim off the original, get some clearance on there, which I think just about we will be able to do it. So we'll end up with a lip. The lip on there will be very, very similar to what is on the Ford next door as well. Very, very thin. We just need the tiniest amount of clearance. It'll be tight, but I think we'll make it work. Eden did supply these as an addition as well, potentially to give it more width, but I don't think these are going to work. We can bond and mold in the section down this way. It's hard to show on the camera here, but directly get up the top, huge gap there. So molding that it doesn't quite work with the shape that these are. Yeah, again, thinking things through in my head. A lot of custom work on things like this. But yeah, very, very similar in terms of what we're doing with the fiberglass kit on the back of that one, actually. All this all needs to be molded in. We did have a quick buzz over this as well, just to get it back to bare metal and see how that went. I won't say it comes off easily, but it does come off. So I think I am going to bare metal the entire black section of the car. We'll bare metal it again. We'll just get a rotary 80 grit essentially, get it back to bare metal, and then I can epoxy it. I know where I'm at with that. I don't know what this is, but I know what my products are, so I'd be happier going from bare metal for that. What else? Strip down the front end as well. The wings currently don't have any mounting points at all, so I'm not fully sure what I'm going to be doing with those. But again, like I said, bumper wise, we're not entirely sure. Are we keeping that or are we using a new one? So at the moment with the Skyline, we're just waiting for extra parts or a decision on the parts so we can crack on with this. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week's video, guys. I know it's a bit of a lengthy, chatty one, but just we'll call it an introduction to what we've got going on at the moment. Take's been doing some work on the BMW. She is on holiday now, so I might be focusing on that one next week. We'll see how things go, really. Jag is going to sit for a little while now, just a week, purely because I don't want to be getting that one into final paint until Tig's back, basically. I'm only one set of hands myself, and it'd just be too much of a rush, especially for a car like that when we're so close. I think one extra week is not going to harm anything for a better job at the end of the day. So yeah, plenty on as always, but consider this an introduction. Hopefully you guys will be interested in some of these projects and carry on watching us. But other than that, home time for the boys, I think. Catch you all soon.